Hold on, guys, and today we're going to be talking about the Week 4 predictions coming up. Last week was one of the worst predictions I've ever done. I was so bad. I went 5-11 in predictions, and I'm looking for a major comeback this week. I just did awful. But that puts me at a grand total of 22, 25, and 1 this year, so I'm hoping I can be a little bit better. And we're going to start off with our Thursday night game, jumping right into it. We have the Dolphins traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Miami Dolphins. I currently have them as the best team in the league. A lot of other people think that they're not. I think that they're the best team right now. And the Bengals, who have played mediocre at best. Barely beaten the Jets, losing to the Steelers. Yeah, this is just rough. I'm going to pick the Dolphins here. I think the Dolphins just overall have a better offense compared to the Bengals and a better defense. I love the Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase connection, but I think the offensive line for the Bengals is just too bad. Flying across the pond to our next game, we have the Vikings taking on the Saints in London. And I'm not going to be able to watch this game, unfortunately, but I think that this game could go either way. But personally, I'm going to have to go with the Vikings here. I would like to go with the Saints. I really want to, but the Saints have just looked bad. They got embarrassed by the Panthers last week. Jameis Winston's playing rough because he's been hurt. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Vikings here. They're going to need a bounce-back game anyways after barely sneaking off a win against the Lions, and that's going to be an easy game, I think, for them to have a comeback. Moving on to our next game, we have the Seahawks traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. I'm going to go with the Lions here. The Seahawks lost to the Falcons and are in contention for the #1 overall pick, while the Lions, I think, could be a sneaky playoff contender, but I'm not quite sure if they'll be a playoff contender just yet. But for right now, I'm going to go with the Lions. Moving on to the next game, we have the Jets taking on the Steelers. The Steelers looked bad on Thursday Night Football, and then getting embarrassed by Najee Harris, fumbling the ball with 3 seconds left. It's been rough. I think it's on Matt Canada. The rest of the fans think it's on Mitch. I don't want to start Kenny Pickett yet. The rest of the fans do. Whatever. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I think that they could easily win against the Jets. And yeah, this is going to be an easy bounce-back game, I think. Next, we have the Bears taking on the Giants. The Giants barely losing against the Cowboys, and the Bears barely winning against the Texans. I think that because this is in New York, while I think the Bears are a better team, I think the Giants might actually have this here. I don't know who to pick here. Both of these teams are bad. Why not? I'll go with the Giants. I trust them a little bit more than I do the Bears. Moving on to the next game, we have the Titans taking on the Colts. The Colts beating the Chiefs, but also tying with the Texans and losing to the Jaguars while getting shut out. I'm going to go with the Colts here. The Colts, I'm hoping that they win, but they barely won against the Chiefs, and the only reason they won was because the Chiefs' defense looked like ass in the last minute. So I'm hoping that the Titans can lose here, but for now I'm going to go with the Colts. Moving on to the next game, we have the Chargers taking on the Texans. The Chargers getting absolutely upset last week against the Jaguars, who I think are actually a really good team now that I look forward, and I predicted wrong before the season began. But moving forward, we have the Chargers, who I thought would be a sneaky playoff contender and a sneaky Super Bowl favorite, but they've looked pretty bad recently. Justin Herbert is playing hurt. And then again, though, this is the Texans, so I'm going to still not count the Chargers out here, but if the Chargers lose here, they're going to be having some issues. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. Moving into the next game, we have the Cleveland Browns, who just embarrassed the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Falcons, who embarrassed the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's fairly obvious the Browns are going to win here. The Falcons' defense is bad. It's just slightly better than the Seahawks' offense, so they were able to win. So I'm going to go with the Browns here. I think that Jacoby Brissett is still playing at a decent level, but I'm not sure if I would really call him an elite quarterback yet, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns. Moving into our next game, we have the Commanders flying to Arlington to take on the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are just bad without Dak Prescott. But that being said, they did manage to beat the Giants. I don't know who to pick here. I would really like to be lucky and pick the Cowboys because I feel like I could do it, or they could win, because the Commanders have just looked bad. This is, again, another game that I just am not feeling, because the Commanders got upset by the Eagles and absolutely dominated, but I don't know. I'll go with the Cowboys for now. I'm not confident in this one either, though, but we just have absolute barn burners of games this week. Anyways, moving on to our next game, we have the Jags taking on the Eagles. The Eagles, man, look like one of the best teams in the league, but also the Jaguars are coming in pretty hot. I'm gonna go with the slight edge over the Jags with the Eagles. I think that Jalen Hurts is just playing a little bit better than Trevor Lawrence, and I think that the Eagles overall are just a little bit better, but that being said, I still think the Jaguars are a very good team. Moving on to our next game, this is going to be one of my favorite games of the weeks. We have the Bills taking on the Ravens. I think that this game is going to be an amazing game. The Bills struggling in Miami against the Dolphins, and you know what? I think that this is going to be a bounce back game for them. The Ravens beating the Patriots after losing to the Dolphins in week 2. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills here. I think that this is going to be a very close game. But between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, this is going to be a battle of who could be the MVP. And I think that Josh Allen is going to certify himself here as the MVP of Week 4. Moving on to the next game, we have the Cardinals taking on the Panthers. Both of these teams look really, really bad. The Panthers last week actually showing up a little bit and winning against the Saints, which I didn't expect at all. I should have, but I didn't. And the Cardinals just getting absolutely decimated by the Rams. I think the Cardinals are getting deflated, and the Panthers are starting to come up and show that they could actually be possibly a contender. So I'm going to go with the Panthers here because it is being played in Carolina, and I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a move for the Panthers to win. Moving on to our next game, we have the Broncos going into Vegas to take on the Raiders, and the Raiders, man, they don't even look as bad as 0-3, but they're the only team without a win still, and they just don't know. Josh McDaniels' seat is super, super, super hot. But I also, at the same time, I don't trust the Broncos. They look so bad on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go with the Broncos just because I trust them a little bit more than the Raiders, but this is, again, another toss-up. This game should be so much better than it is. But both of these teams just look really bad. Moving on to our next game, we have the Patriots flying into Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Packers coming out with a great upset against the Buccaneers. And the Patriots losing Mac Jones for a little bit. I'm going to go with the Packers here just because I think that Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones are a better wide quarterback running back duo than the Patriots have. Moving on to our Sunday night game, we have the Chiefs taking on the Buccaneers. The Bucs have no wide receivers other than Mike Evans right now. And I think that that's going to help them out a little bit, but at the same time, the Chiefs offense just looks really, really good. So I think the Chiefs are easily going to take this win. I think Patrick Mahomes is playing a lot better than Tom Brady is. And I think that the Buccaneers defense is playing amazing, but I don't think that they'll be able to stop the Chiefs offense. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. And then finally, we have the Rams taking on the 49ers. I would really like to pick the Rams here after they just embarrassed their division rival in the Cardinals. But the 49ers always give the Rams issues. They swept them last year. I think I could go with the Rams here, but yeah, you know what? I think I am going to go with the Rams. The 49ers got absolutely embarrassed on Sunday Night Football by the Broncos, letting them come back, and their defense played really bad. And as long as the Rams don't give up, I think that the Rams could win this game. So that's going to be my picks. I'm going to hope that I do a little bit better here. They're on screen right now for you guys to see. I'm hoping that, that I do a little bit better than 5-11, like I did last week. But we won't know until Sunday. And that's going to be all I got for this video. Take it easy, guys.